Hey guys, it's Shelby and I'm really excited for today's video because in today's video I'm going to be sharing with you some of my more recent finds of sustainable brands that you really should know because they're doing just amazing things. This being my job, I get questions all the time about sustainable brands. People come to me and ask me for sustainable brands for X, Y, and Z, sustainable clothing brands, underwear, skincare, homeware, all that sort of thing. And I do a lot of research to make sure that the recommendations that I do give you when you ask are the best that they can be and that they're actually doing what they're saying they're doing, that they're not greenwashing, essentially. I do a lot of really hard work to make sure that that is what I'm providing you with. So in my head, I have a giant database of all the brands that kind of like meet my standards. And then there's also this sub list of the brands who are doing something extra special, who I think deserve more recognition than they're currently getting. And so that's kind of what this video is going to be. Also, if you've been on my channel before, you know I have a series where I go and spend $1,000 on sustainable clothing and then kind of evaluate the brand itself. It's essentially like a sustainable clothing review. If you've never seen one of those videos before, I'll link it here, and that might mean that you're not subscribed, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. But this month, because of everything going on in the world, I didn't feel right spending that much money just to do a review. And I think with what's currently happening in the world, it probably wouldn't be all that helpful. So I decided I'd just highlight some cool brands that I recently found out about through this video. I would love to hear in the comments if you have any brands that you think are doing extra special things that deserve more recognition. Leave them in the comments and I'll look into them, and maybe if you like this video, I can do more of them. Only other thing I need to say is everything I'm talking about today is going to be linked in the description, so make sure you check those out. Oh yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. So first up is a brand that I really love and I have to share about. I've talked about them I think once before, but if you missed that video then you would have missed them. And it is a brand called madetrade. So what you can basically think of madetrade as is like a sustainable version of Nordstrom's. Yeah, I think that's a good comparison. They carry everything from sustainable clothing brands to home decor to furniture, jewelry, shoes, you name it. They have sustainable and ethical brands for all those areas of your life. And they actually make it really easy to shop by your values. So they categorize all the brands by things that you might care about. And those 7 things fall under things that are US made, sustainable, vegan, fair trade, woman owned, person of color owned, which is something that I think is really important to highlight. And madetrade does a really great job of that. And they also have very size inclusive clothing brands over there, which is how I found them and why I love them so much. So madetrade highlights tons of brands over on their site, but I thought I would just share with you one of the purchases I recently made from them. This is probably like back in March that I made this purchase, but it is a swimsuit from a brand called Alter, and they hand make these things in Portland out of dead stock fabric. So swimwear is something that's typically a synthetic material, and I think one of the most sustainable ways you can get a swimsuit would be either from recycled materials or dead stock fabric, which is what this is. I also think the design of this is beautiful because it's a wrap swimsuit, which is very flattering on my figure, as I've said many times. I also purchased a romper from them a while ago, again like a few months ago, from the same brand, from madetrade. I've recently purchased a blanket from their site, which is gorgeous. And if you saw my TikTok and or Instagram post where I dyed clothing from food waste, I did also get the long sleeve top that I dyed, the white top, from Pop Linen, which is another brand that is very size inclusive over on madetrade. I think sites like madetrade and madetrade specifically make it a lot easier to find sustainable brands in any given category that you might be curious about. So definitely check them out. I do have a coupon code with them, and I think it's Shelbizleee for $15 off of a purchase of $100. So definitely show them some love if you're in the market for anything that they carry. The list I compiled today are not all fashion brands. I just want to say that right off the bat. Well, not right off the bat, as I'm going into like 2 separate fashion companies, but I have brands in here that are not fashion, so this is not all fashion based. If you're not interested in fashion, I just want you to know that so that you keep watching. But the next brand is one that I've talked about for years. I've been a fan of for years, and I think what's really important about sustainable brands a lot of times is not just that you're making making sustainable items, but that you're also giving back, contributing to doing good for the planet, which is exactly what Tentree does. So Tentree is a sustainable fashion brand that probably you could guess what they do by their name. For every item purchased, they plant 10 trees. They work with nonprofit organizations all over the world to help empower people and local communities to plant these trees, and their transparency about how they do this on their site is incredible. You can go and see exactly where the trees that you are contributing to are being planted, because every item you purchase from them comes with a little token with a number on it, so that you can go to their site and see exactly the impact of your purchase. I'm super proud to have supported Tentree over the years, because over the years they have planted over 43 million trees, which I'm sure you guys know is better for the planet overall, and as well as fighting climate change. So they're doing great things. All of their things are made from sustainable materials, either recycled materials, natural materials, all that sort of thing. And just as a bonus, their stuff is really, really cute. You may have seen me wear this beanie a few times before. I've had it for like a while now. And since I live in Texas, I look forward to it always getting cold enough so that I can wear things like this. So this is just a really cute beanie I got from Tentree a while ago, but they have a ton of cute stuff over on their site. And because they're a brand who is not just talking the talk, but also walking the walk in having sustainable items, but then also giving back, I think they're an amazing company to support. And I have a discount code with them as well. I think it's the same code, Shelbizleee, for 15% off. So I'll have them linked in the description if you want to check them out. Next up is another marketplace, but more so for like self-care items, self-hygiene items. I don't know what to call it. It's called Black and Green Market. So basically what this is an entire marketplace of sustainable, like I said, like self-care brands that are Black owned. And a marketplace like this is super valuable to be able to support Black owned businesses. What I actually really like about Black and Green Market, and why I decided to include them in this, is they are also very upfront with how they evaluate if a brand is sustainable or not. And a lot of brands will say, we curate this like great selection of wonderful brands that are ethically sourced and environmentally friendly, and it's like, okay, but what does that mean? Like, what are you looking at to evaluate that? And Black and Green Market have an entire page on their website to answer that question for you, which is what I think is so important when brands take that step to inform the consumer of what they're supporting. So I'll have them linked below as well, but I wanted to give a couple product recommendations that you could check out. First one is going to be this vitamin C serum, which vitamin C is my favorite skincare product, and I did purchase this, but it is on pre-order, so I don't have it yet. And then there's also a flax gel, which I've been trying to get Madison to buy a more sustainable version for her dreads when she retwists them for so long. And it's honestly kind of hard to find more natural products for people with natural hair. But there is one over on Black and Green Market, which I did purchase so that Madison will try it. I don't use any products on my hair, so I don't really have that struggle, but I try to help her do better as well. So definitely check out Black and Green Market if you haven't already. Like I said, I'll have it linked below. Next up, I have a brand that does skincare from food waste, which is insane. And you would think, oh, is it like a small brand that's like not that significantly sized and they're just like getting started? No, they actually already sell this brand at Ulta, which is so cool to me. So the brand is called Upcircle Beauty, and I'm currently testing out this cleansing balm by them, which is made from discarded apricot stones. And it's a very, very, very fine exfoliant. I don't even feel it on my skin when I'm using it, and I don't use it that many times a week because physical exfoliants you should use sparingly. But I'm just so excited about this cleansing balm because I think a lot of you might know if you've ever seen my skincare routine. I'll link it below. I've been using Mad Hippie's cleansing oil, and while that's all great and dandy, it does come with a plastic pump and they don't have a bring back program. So Upcircle Beauty, this is just a glass jar, which for me is going to be a lot easier to reuse, and an aluminum lid. So I'm just super excited about this, and so far I've been using it for a couple weeks and I'm really, really enjoying it. So super pumped about this brand. They have a ton of other stuff too, like a body scrub made from discarded coffee grounds and a few other products as well. Madison's been using their chai soap bar. She loves chai, so she's been loving that. And this is just a really cool brand, and their packaging is all really great. They use incredibly minimal plastic. Nothing I have from them had any plastic on it. So just so cool to see a brand doing this in general, and then to see that they're already in Ulta is so exciting. So I'm gonna have them linked below for you to check out. Next up, if we stick with food for a little while, I wanted to talk a little bit about my experience with consumerism in the home kitchen gadget area. After I quit fast fashion, I sort of turned and adjusted my like consumeristic habits onto food and kitchen gadgets. Right around the time I quit fast fashion was right around the time I moved into my first apartment. So it was just a perfect segue into, oh, well, I can't hyper consume clothing. I'll just do that with kitchenware. And I think a lot of people in the US do that. So when I learn about brands that are doing better in the homeware section, I'm just so excited. So the brand I wanted to highlight today is called Verve. They make a handful of kitchenware that is made from recycled materials. It's not made from plastic, and they're not just random gadgets that you would never use. They make really useful things like the juicer we have that is made from recycled aluminum. The tortilla press we have that is made from recycled aluminum are both made by this brand called Verve, and these items are handmade by artisans who are paid ethical wages and safe working conditions and all of those things that just make the little environmentalist in me go, oh, finally. I personally don't know of a lot of brands out there who are doing sustainable things in the kitchenware section. So when I found out about this brand, I thought it was something that I should share with everyone. So that's what I'm doing here, and I'll have them linked below. I realize I talk a lot and my videos get long, so I'm gonna try to make the rest of this pretty fast. The next brand I want you to know is Natural Home by the Futon Shop. Now this is a brand that doesn't only have one mattress to choose from. A lot of sustainable mattresses, there are like 1 or 2 mattresses that you can choose from, whereas the Futon Shop has hundreds of mattresses to choose from. They have mattresses made from hemp, organic cotton, natural latex, coconut. They have latex mattresses, vegan mattresses, whatever you could want. If you want one with springs, without springs, with memory foam, whatever it is that is your preference, head over to the Futon Shop and please, whenever it is time to get a new mattress for yourself, use them. They have all of the certifications to back it up, and they even have it to where if you don't want fire retardants in your products, because those are pretty harsh chemicals, you can get your mattresses without those things. Yeah, they're just an overall really, really great company that I fully stand behind. I'm gonna have them linked below. It's where we got our mattresses when we moved into this house, and I think that people should know, because that's a huge purchase in your life, right? It's something that you sleep on every single night, and I think if there's one place where you could make a really big purchasing decision that's going to be better for your health because you're not sleeping on less than ideal mattresses, and you want to get something that's really high quality and support a sustainable brand, I think the Futon Shop is the ideal place to go. So definitely check them out when the time is right to get your new mattress. Since this is my last video for Pride Month, I thought I would highlight a brand that does amazing things for the LGBTQ plus community, and they're ethical and sustainable, and a brand that I've purchased from with my own money multiple times. So this brand is called TomBoyX, and this brand makes underwear, essentially, but they are entirely gender and size inclusive. They use sustainable materials in their underwear and all that sort of thing. All of their stuff is made ethically, and they're not just boring black and white basics. This is from them. So just to give you guys a little story, Madison has worn the same underwear since middle school, and it was such an interesting example of something that she does, mostly because she's cheap, not necessarily for sustainability reasons, but she kept up with her underwear for so long because the style of her underwear, she's very particular about. That's not the point. The point is, she was not ready to get a new pair of underwear until her underwear completely fell apart. Was when her Fruit of the Loom underwear, like the elastic band, detached all the way around from the like whatever you call this, the actual like part, like these two things came completely detached. So then I went on a mission to try to find a brand that had something that she would like the style of underwear she would like, and also that was ethically and sustainably made, and so I found TomBoyX. They actually have underwear with the logo from our favorite show, The L Word, and they make things, like I say, that are not just like boring black and white basics, but this is her bra that I got her for Valentine's Day, and I think there are very few sustainable brands out there doing something other than like the most basic tones, and so when I found something like this, I just felt so excited about it. These are the kind of brands that I really get excited about. Because this brand is doing just everything right, I want everyone I can tell to know about them. So I'm gonna have a link in the description for $20 off. It's just like a general referral link that you can get on their website. I think it's like you get $20 and we get $20 kind of thing. But if you're interested in purchasing from this brand, please go check them out. I also love that they are gender and size inclusive. I should say that for most of these brands, I feel that way, that they're size inclusive at least. So yeah, I really wanted to highlight that brand because she's loved them since the first time I bought her stuff was back in December, and then again in February. So Check them out. Okay, I actually have several other brands left to talk about, but I realized that I have like gone in depth about being so excited about all of these brands so much that this video is already getting really long. So I'm just gonna mention 2 more that I really love, and then maybe we can make this into a series. If you like it, you have to let me know. But the next brand I wanna talk about is a brand called, I don't even know how to pronounce this, kobashi. So I found this brand recently when I was at Target randomly. Well, not randomly, I left town pretty quickly and then ended up having to go to a funeral like last month. No, that was this month still. Time is flying by, it's so crazy. I found myself at Target and needing a pair of shoes for the funeral, and so I looked. They had a brand called kobashi, and the little hang tag said that they were sustainable and ethically made and da-da-da-da-da. I didn't look into the brand so much, to be honest with you. Right there in Target, it was, I needed something. I had already checked all the thrift stores, just so y'all know, and I said, even if this brand is greenwashing, this is better than purchasing like some of these other shoes. And the material was the same as this material, so it was very different than most like dressier shoes I've ever tried before. Like, this is a flip-flop, probably doesn't look that nice to you, but I talked in my newsletter about the shoe that I did buy. They're just black flats, and I'm absolutely obsessed. And the reason I'm so obsessed is because this brand is doing amazing things. So interesting that they're already in Target. So apparently only 1%, you guys, 1% of shoes that are worn in the US are made in the US. Obviously, this has implications on the planet, always shipping things everywhere, like a CO2 footprint. But in addition to that, I do think it's really important to help out the American economy, if that makes any sense. Like, when you support brands that actually employ people where you live, it strengthens the economy where you live. And also brands that don't take shortcuts, essentially. Weird that it's called a shortcut when it's actually like really far away. But the shortcuts in like exporting their manufacturing overseas, they don't have the same regulations as the US does in terms of protecting the environment. And there are just several reasons to support brands that manufacture in the US. kobashi is a brand that does that. So they're part of the only 1% of shoes that are actually manufactured in the US. The materials that these are made out of is incredibly sustainable, not just from the like aspect of what happens to the shoe when it's done, does it biodegrade, is it a natural material, etc. They've taken into account the entire footprint of crafting this shoe, the carbon footprint, the resource use, as well as the end of life cycle of their shoes. So they have a completely closed loop system, which is the bomb. Those are the brands that I get so excited about. Brands that take back their items and actually make sure that they are disposed of properly. So they have their own recycling system where when you're done with these shoes, you can ship them back and they'll turn them into new shoes. And in addition to being able to do that, when you do recycle your shoes with them, you get a discount on your next purchase, which is an incentive for consumers to help with the whole loop cycle. I love brands that do that. I get the most excited about brands that do that. So not only all of those things are really great about these, but it's very rare, I think, to find a sandal brand that is sustainable. I don't know of any other ones. So when I found this, I was super stoked on it. If you guys have seen my Birkenstocks recently, someone called me out in my last video. Yeah, they're treacherous.
Oh, no, 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 no.
I know I need to get them resold, and when I do that, I will definitely document it. But I also think it's cool to have another pair of shoes that don't have to be resold. These seem to be very high quality. For me, the way I can tell this is there's not a seam here. This is all one piece. So like the problem I'm having with my Birkenstocks is this is separating. These are not going to have that issue. So I just think these are all around great. They're actually quite affordable. They're not crazy expensive. I have nothing bad to say about this brand, and I am so stoked that I stumbled upon them. So check them out. I'll have them linked below. So for this last brand, it's probably one of my favorite brands in the whole world, if not my absolute favorite brand in the whole world, because they carry a lot of my other brands that are my favorite brands, but it's Earth Hero. You guys have probably heard me talk about them before, and they sponsor a video on my channel nearly every month. I work with them very closely. I know their team. I've met with them in person. I have regular meetings with them. I cannot stand behind a brand more than I stand behind Earth Hero. But since they're not sponsoring this video, I can say some things that I've never said before when I talk about Earth Hero, and also things that you guys ask me and why I support Earth Hero over some other brands. Earth Hero is just an incredible company. They carry all of the brands that you could ever look for if you wanted a sustainable version of XYZ XYZ in your life, they're gonna have it. And they have a 5-step process to make sure that that item is actually sustainable. So like I said earlier in the video, it's incredibly important to me when brands outline why something is sustainable. I don't have to look it up. I don't have to wonder if they're greenwashing. Earth Hero takes away all of that guessing. On their product pages, they explain everything you could ever want to know. And the reason I will always stand behind Earth Hero as opposed to some other brands that you guys might know about is because they are carbon neutral, a certified B Corporation, and part of 1% for the planet. They have put their money where their mouth is, and there's no other brand out there that's doing what Earth Hero is doing. There are no other brands out there doing this extent and have the same, like, putting your money where your mouth is to back it up. And that's why I don't support package-free shop. A lot of you guys ask me about other brands that are similar to Earth Hero in other parts of the world and even in the US. And I know that there are other brands out there who sell zero-waste swaps. You're never gonna hear me talk about them because I honestly feel that all of the ones I've ever seen care about aesthetics and not about truly what is the sustainability behind a brand. Because just because something is reusable doesn't make it sustainable in my eyes. You have to take into account the full footprint of a product, which is exactly what Earth Hero does and why I have aligned with them so strongly. Other brands, I mean, I already mentioned one, but you guys probably know a lot of the other ones as well. The other brands that you guys ask me about sometimes, I know you support Earth Hero, but what do you think about XYZ? There's a reason why I don't talk about them. And there's a reason why I support Earth Hero so strongly. I know that not everybody lives in the US and right now Earth Hero doesn't ship worldwide, which is a bummer. And I understand why people who can't get Earth Hero ask, but I don't understand why people ask about other brands in the US who sell the same brands Earth Hero does, but don't have the same certifications. Other brands, which I've already kind of mentioned, but didn't mean to, are not carbon neutral, are not part of 1% for the planet, are not B certified corporations. They don't have all these things to back it up. They have not put their money where their mouth is. And it seems like mostly those brands are about aesthetics and not about real sustainability, which is what Earth Hero does by taking into account the full footprint of an item, which is why they just align with me so great. And like I said, they're not sponsoring this video. I don't even know if they'll see it, but I genuinely, there's no brand on this planet that I love more than them. So I had to throw them into this video because if you don't already know about them somehow, then you're probably not subscribed here and you should subscribe. But if you don't already know about them, you should. And I do have a discount code with them. It's Shelbi10 and I'll have them linked below. I've done several videos with them, so you could go check one of those out. I'll link one right here. But yeah, like I said, this video is already getting incredibly long, and I'm starting to talk fast. I can hear myself doing it because I'm getting anxious. So I'm going to go. But like I said, if you did enjoy this video, please let me know in the comments and I can make this a series highlighting brands who are doing the right thing and what the right things are so that you can know about them. Of course, I'm never a proponent of just consuming to consume, but these are all brands that, like, when you're looking for an item in this category and you want to make a sustainable purchase, I think these brands are incredible. So thank you so much for watching, and remember, until next time, you cannot do all the good that the world needs, but the world needs all the good that you can do. Bye, guys. I'm getting up. Normally I wave. I'm sorry. Bye.